view of part of the trail. You can see the mules going down. Literally, it is just unbelievable. Very narrow, very steep, and it's kind of graduated in steps.
I would have been scared I'd fall off.
Well, all you got to do is just hold on tight. This is the bottom, and those are the cliffs we just came down. It's another view of the cliffs, and this is the harbor where the big boat comes in once a year. Once you get there, you have to ride, you can't just walk around, you have to go on this school bus in a tour. So we did that and learned about Father Damien. He was born in Belgium on July 3rd, 1840, and became a missionary in the missionary order at the age of 20, Congregation of Sacred Hearts of Jesus and Mary, and he took the religious name of Damien. Here's a statue of him. There are statues and portrait. Father Damien appears frequently in art, and here is a woodcut that I have of some of you have seen this before because I've had it in church, but you can see how he's looking up at the sun. Here's his leprosy patient, and some Hawaiian food up here. I can't remember what that plant is. And you can see how she's got a crucifix in her hand, or man or woman, I'm not sure. Anyway, this is
I would think that would be the Bible or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is the Bible
like
right
pineapple
here.
up there.
This is
Yeah.
it might be tarot. I'm not sure. This is
Fish.
the Bible. Yeah. So you can see, and his hat. He always had that hat on. So he wanted to be a priest. His supervisor said, no, you don't have enough education. But he was undeterred, and he prayed that he would someday be a missionary too. He studied Latin with the help of his brother and finally was allowed to pursue ordination. But they did not let him go to be a missionary because his superiors said, no, you won't be any good at it. But then his brother was going to Hawaii, but he became ill and couldn't travel. So Damien said, let me go in his place, which they did. So here he is on his boat going from Belgium to Hawaii. So he went first to the Big Island, the largest island, which is known as the island of Hawaii. He stayed there for quite a while working, and then he kept hearing about the leprosy outbreak, and he had some parishioners who were infected by it, and then he decided that's what he wanted to do. Before he went to Kalaupapa, he worked on Molokai for several years, and he built this little church, and others too, but this is the Church of St. Joseph, and you can go in. Here's the front of it. Very, very quiet and peaceful. So this tells a little bit more about the policies to remove the people with leprosy. So Father Damien said, I want to go and be there, and they finally agreed to that and let him go to the lepers. So he was for 16 years on the island, and ended up himself dying of leprosy. This is about his love for communion. So he died shortly after his 49th birthday. He said, I am still able, but not without some difficulty, to stand every day at the altar where I do not forget any of you. Do you in return pray and get prayers from me who am being drawn gently toward the grave. May God strengthen me and give me the strength of perseverance and a happy death. And I try to make slowly my way of the cross and hope soon to be on the top of my Golgotha. So he he ate out of the same bowls as the patients. He didn't have good hygiene. Anyway, he ended up catching leprosy himself. So he died on April 15th at the age of 49, surrounded by the lepers.
49.
He was 49. He was canonized in 2009, so he's only been a saint, officially a saint, since 2009 in the Catholic Church. And that's the article I took that information from. And here's a picture of lepers and Father Damien. You can see him here in the middle, and all ages. And you can see this person's ears are misshapen. Leprosy does really awful things to your body. Whoops, wait a minute. How did that happen? Oh, go away. Oh, there we go. Okay. This is the Church of St. Philomena. It's very close to the place where they dumped the people out and had them swim to shore. And Father Damien enlarged this church. And you can see here, he put in pews with holes in the floors because leprosy, the people have to spit a lot. So these little holes in the floor were so they could just spit into the holes. And it was better than just spitting on the floor. And that's the door, the back door in. This is a very typical thing you would see everywhere. People put their lays on statues, so his statue was covered in lays people had brought there and put as a remembrance to him. This is where he was buried, but because he was from Belgium and he was so famous after his death, the people in Belgium said, we want him back. So they came and took his body back to Belgium. However, later, they made a relic out of his right hand. The Catholics do these things. And they brought his right hand back to Molokai, and his right hand was returned to his grave. So there's a piece of Father Damien still there. This is the back. You can see our bus, and another priest that was there, Reverend Chute, is there behind him. This is looking out on all of these graves. So many people died there. And this is a very interesting character. This is Brother Dutton, and he is from the United States. He fought in the Civil War and felt that he had committed great sins and he wanted to atone for them. So he went to Molokai to work in the leper colony. Whoops, I'm clicking the wrong thing, sorry. And he came to Father Damien, here's Father Damien dying. He came to Father Damien as he was dying, and he said, my name is Joseph Dutton, and I've come to help, and I've come to stay. And he did. He stayed there till he died. He's buried in that same graveyard here. He worked very hard in the leper colony the rest of his life. He said, I wish to guard you against having too high an estimate of the work here, work performed with a good intention to accomplish the will of Almighty God for His glory is the same in one place as another. One's Molokai can be anywhere. And I think that's a very profound statement, that God will give us work to do in the place God puts us.
So what is Molokai?
Well, he's saying, I traveled here to Molokai to do my work all the way from the United States, but he said, your Molokai can be anywhere.
Okay.
Your Molokai can be Bowling Green, or your Molokai can be Port Royal, or so I think that's very
Mission.
Yeah, that God gives us work to do, and we don't have to go across the world to do it. There is Father Damien. I never saw this picture till I was putting this together. This is his body after he had died, before they buried him. And this is Sister Mary Ann Cope. We'll hear more about her. The tradition is that once he died, all the signs of leprosy left his body. I have no idea whether that's true or not, but this is the church in the town. There are 3 churches. This is the second one. it's in the town, and it's where the people now go to church. The other one people attend periodically, but this is the one that has services on a regular basis. St. Francis is St. Clair. Remember that Father Damien was part of the Order of St. Francis. He was a Franciscan, so this is not surprising that this church would be dedicated to St. Francis and St. Clair. And here's another painting of him inside, and you can see it reflects, the glass reflects, which I thought was so cool. And a sign that, you know, this was an active community of very sick people. So this is the current, the infirmary here. This is an older building from the time of the leper colony, as is this one, and I've forgotten what they are anymore, but you can see those, and it's quite beautiful. Mary Ann Cope came there, also spent her life there, and she opened a school for the girls that were in the leper colony. So she became a huge asset to the community. Mother Mary Ann's sisters Leopoldina and Vincentia were the first nuns to arrive in 1888, and they supervised the home for girls. So they were there almost just a few years after Damien. I think that might be the home for girls, actually. This is the National Park Service headquarters. It had a great exhibit inside, and this is the store.